How was that going? I had a question.
I feel colder than ever. So,
When you look to tomorrow, I know it's just one game, but it's a big game. You always talk about hold and serve at home. When you look at tomorrow, is there one thing that you have to do out of all the things to be successful? I mean, one thing.
one thing I'd say, rebound the ball. Defensive rebound the ball is they're +7 I think for the year, but those three big guys can really rebound the ball, and then they got other guys that go as well. So that would be the case. But there's not just one. You're going to have to be able to attack and play behind their pressure, but they'll mix how they do it. They guard us much different down in Houston last year than they did here, so they'll make some adjustments. But we got to be patient enough and aggressive enough to understand that we're going to have to create some situations that force them into long closeouts or mistakes, and then play behind that, as opposed to just trying to come down and go one-on-one and score. So yeah, we got to be good at a lot of different areas, but one area, yeah, let's rebound the ball.
Bill, there's a number of Bill Self stats that no one else has since you've been at Kansas. One of them is your record against top 10 teams in Allen Fieldhouse, which is only surpassed when they're actually ranked above you. Obviously, we've got a great crowd. What else has gone into like 20-2 against teams ranked higher than you, top 10 in Allen Fieldhouse?
Well, we've got, it's obviously a great crowd, and regardless of who's ranked higher or not, we've got good players we're putting on the floor as well. So, you have players that are good, and then you have a crowd, hopefully, that's turned up. You can put yourself in a situation where it becomes a terrific home court. I've always said the best home courts are the ones having the best players play on it, and that's certainly been the case with us over time.
Two great defensive teams. Can you just highlight what your guys are doing so well defensively, and then talk about what Houston does?
I actually think stats are a little misleading. I think we are pretty good defensively. I don't think that we're as good as what our stats say we are. I think we still make mistakes. I still think that we don't guard the ball as well as we should. Our defensive rebounding at times has been stellar, at times it's been very poor. I think we're inconsistent with a lot of things that we're doing defensively, but the stats say that we're really good at it, because sometimes I think, teams miss open looks or whatever. But it is two very good defensive teams going at it tomorrow. But I think that there's some room for improvement on our end, for sure.
DeJuan talked about it a few minutes ago, but going back to the second Houston game last year, what did they change defensively that gave you guys issues?
Well, they still guarded us, and they still pressured us, but they didn't pressure us in a way that allowed us to play behind their pressure. In the first game, we did a good job, but also in the first game, guys, we made every shot. And the ones that we missed, we got back. Whether it be, I think Hunt had like 3 tip-ins off of short misses or whatnot. Or we had a total of maybe 3. You can't count on that kind of those type of things. But to be honest, when we played down in Houston, now granted that was a beatdown, and they were a lot better. They were turned up. We were fractured. We weren't very healthy, but we missed a lot of the same shots that we actually made in our building. Now I'm not saying that would have been enough, but and to be honest with you, they made some of the same shots in their building that they actually missed in our building. So it can be a little misleading, but that the second time we played them, I felt like that we labored to get a good look every possession. Where the first times we played them, I felt like that there were some 2-on-1 and 3-on-2 opportunities.
And then real quick with Zach, we haven't asked about him in a minute. How's he progressing from the injury?
I think he's making progress, but I don't think he's close to being able to play or practice yet. When we're talking practicing, we're talking doing 1-on-0 shooting. That's where we're at right now. There's been nothing competitive with him. So, and of course, right now with KJ being out, we probably use him now as much as we ever could, but he's not available to us.
You've said before you can't give 40 rah-rah speeches. DeJuan said earlier this week you talked to this group about energy to start a game. What goes into that conversation? What are you telling these guys to get them to have a little more energy automatically?
You know, I actually believe that our energy level in certain situations has been great. Our energy level in others has been bad, just like it was the other night to start the game. I mean, we were really bad the first 10 minutes the other night, and fortunately, if we'd have waited 12, it may have been too late. So at least we woke up halfway through the first half. But I don't know that it's anything more than preparing to play a day or two before the game actually occurs. I didn't feel like that was the case the other night, no matter how much you talk about it and all those sorts of things. Whenever you ask the staff, where are we in our pre-warm-ups, and they say, not great. Well, that told me right then that it's not any good. So I went in and talked to the guys before the TCU game, and I did such a good job with that. We came out and we were actually worse after I talked to them. And I just said, hey guys, I'm not gonna get on you right now, but you know it and I know it. Let's not have an issue, and let's look everybody in the eye and let's say what the way that we're approaching this isn't good enough, but we have to change it. And it didn't work. So I really believe it's on the players to walk into the locker room 2 hours before the game where they are 100% ready to go. And out of fairness to others, and people won't understand this, but when you got all these new teams in the league and you got portal situations and you got 12 new players on a roster and that team isn't on national TV where you're watching them all the time, it's not the same as knowing you're playing Houston when these are their 5 guys and you've already played them before. And that it's not the same for anybody. It's one of the negatives of the additions. It's one of the negatives of the free transfers. It's one of the negatives. Now those are excuses, but the reality of it is, the bottom line is, when a team that plays on national TV every game, they can have 10 newcomers, and the team that they're getting ready to play that doesn't know everything about those guys prior to the game, where you don't know as much about their guys. So those are some, but if you play them twice every year, you still know. Those are things, it's just a little bit different, and I think that can certainly play a role in being as excited from an energy standpoint.
Follow up on that. Everybody that's talked about him since he's been out, KJ's the energy guy, right? We've heard that a bunch. You've said that even. What are some little things that maybe we don't see that you're missing with him not being in the lineup?
When a guy is out of position and he bluffs and guards your man long enough for you to get back, and then he goes and guards his man. From an IQ standpoint. Now, granted, we don't do always great with KJ in the game, but from an effort standpoint, he gives the team confidence because the other team knows under most circumstances he's the best athlete in the game. So that's nice to have on your side.
Flory's been in some situations from time to time where he's been against an experienced guy who maybe gets him in foul or something. What will it take out of him on Saturday going up against the physicality and the veteran experience of Houston's?
With Flory, did you say
With Flory, yeah.
He just got to grow up fast. He's got to play stronger. He's got to play more physical. He's got to enjoy it, embrace it, and he can't be indecisive. When you go, you go. But that's the thing. Flory is very capable of having good games against really good players. That's happened before. You know, look at Duke down the stretch, all those things. That's happened before. But his role is obviously more important now when we're a little shorthanded. That he needs to play to his size and play to a very athletic level.
And then with Houston's main new guy being their point guard, how have you seen him grow since you played him at Oklahoma and grow into that role at Houston?
Well, it's hard for me to really study and say that he's better at another situation than he was at the last situation because they don't play the same way. So it's really, his role at Oklahoma may be very, very, very comparable to the success he had there as it is at Houston. But from the outside looking in, much more aggressive, more of a bulldog type approach than maybe what he had where we saw him before, but that was also not their motto as much as what it is with Kelvin's teams.
When is a possible return date of KJ?
Gary, you just asked me this 24 hours ago,
I did.
or 48 hours ago. It's the exact same week to week. He's not going to play, obviously, tomorrow. And we'll reevaluate him after that. But I'm hopeful, within a week to 2 weeks we can have him back out there. But I don't know the exact date by any stretch.
How good is Sharp nationally from three, and what's the plan? You probably don't want to give the plan, but how do you slow him down?
Well, we're going to try to guard him. Don't tell anyone though. So, he and Cryer both. Those guys collectively shoot 13 threes a game. Milos, I think, is shooting like 3.5, and the rest of the team is only shooting about a total of 3 a game. So those are the combined. So those are the 3 guys that are going to shoot the majority of the threes, and to me, Sharp and Cryer, if you can keep the ball away from them at the end of the shot clock, I think that would probably be good for you, because I think they're great at creating shots for themselves under 7 or 8 seconds on the shot clock.
With a 5:30 game, 2 great teams, what does this remind you of from a student hype standpoint, and how big a day this could be?
You know what? I don't feel the student hype the way that I used to. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think that from a camping out standpoint, when North Carolina was here to start the season, and you got 150 camping groups and stuff. I hadn't even been down there today, so I don't even know what it is, but maybe it's out there and really high levels. But I haven't felt the student hype to the level that I've felt in some other years. And I know that other people have said the same thing. That's not being negative to the students, but I don't think there's been as much anticipation since the Carolina game, for sure, even in some of our bigger games, but some of them have been over break too, that we felt before. So I'm hopeful that our energy level from a fan standpoint will be as good as it's been all year long tomorrow.
Anything else for Coach? Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.